I often tell the story of Mr. Leopard and Mr. Antelope. Mr. Antelope was the grandson of Mr. Leopard. One day, Mr. Leopard said, "Please accompany me to my father-in-law." Mr. Antelope agrees, and they set out. Stopping on the road, Mr. Leopard says, "Grandson, pick up that shiny stone on the ground for my wife." When he picked it up, there were driver ants which bit him fiercely. Mr. Leopard says, "My grandson, thou art a fool! Driver ants, they bite! Let us go now." They stop on the road. Hunger has seized them. They find ripe maize. Mr. Leopard says, "My grandson, come, let us break corn for us to roast. Thou shalt break the green corn. The yellow corn, we eat it not." They come to the plants. Mr. Leopard plucks the yellow corn. Our friend, Mr. Antelope, plucks the green. When they come to the straw heap, he says, "Grandson, roast here where the fire is." When they put the corn in the hearth, that of Mr. Leopard was done, for he had roasted on wood. That of Antelope was not done, for he had roasted on straw. He says, "My grandson, arise! Let us go. Thou art a fool. Thou hast left the fire, but the corn thou puttest in the ashes. Come, let us go." Stopping on the road, seized by hunger again, they find sugar cane. Mr. Leopard says, "My grandson, these canes, don't eat them. Eat the small canes." When they entered the field of cane, Mr. Leopard ate the good canes. Our friend, the antelope, ate the wild cane. His mouth became all wounds. Mr. Leopard says, "Art thou not a fool? Wild canes wound the mouth. My grandson, let us go." Stopping on the road, they meet women who are planting peanuts. He goes to a thicket of the forest. He unties his bundle, takes out a shirt, drawers, trousers, vest, coat. He dresses. Having finished dressing, cane in hand, he goes to the girls. "Good afternoon, ladies. Are you well?" "Oh, we are well. Where art thou going?" "I am going to visit my father-in-law." They give him a plate of peanuts. They give him a plate of jimbombo. When he finished eating, they give him a jug of water. They light for him a pipe of tobacco. Having done smoking, he says, "I am going now. Fare ye well. Soon I shall pass by ye again." "Oh, arrive safely. Greetings to thy wife." When he had arrived, he finds Mr. Antelope, who he had left, and says, "Oh, how, my grandson! Where I went, they chased me. They did not give me anything. I have come with my hunger. I ran away. They wanted to beat me. Let us go now." Mr. Antelope says, "No, I also will go where thou wentest. I too will go." "All right," Mr. Leopard says. "When thou arrivest, do not say, 'Good afternoon.' Speak like this, saying, 'Vioko, Vioko, go and eat dung.'" Mr. Antelope, on arriving there, speaks as Mr. Leopard instructed him. They take him, they beat him, saying, "Your grandfather, Mr. Leopard, when he came here, he insulted us not. Thou insultest us. Why? Your grandfather, when he came here, we gave him food. He ate. We gave him a jug of water. He drank. We gave him the pipe. He smoked. Then he said, 'I am going now, fare ye well.' Begone! We would have given thee food, but thus no. Stand no longer here, else we beat thee, for thou lackest respect. Go at once." When he arrives on the road, he finds his grandfather seated. "My grandson, how did they treat thee? How didst thou do?" "When I arrived, I said, 'Vioko, Vioko, eat ye dung.' The women, when they heard, anger possessed them. They beat me, they chased me. Mr. Leopard says, Oh, thou art a fool! When thou meetest others, then dost thou insult them? It was right that they beat thee. Thou wast insolent. Arise, let us go. They arrived at the house of the father-in-law. They gave them mats to spread for them in the house in which they are to stay. The father-in-law has gone. He kills a big, suckling hog to cook for his son-in-law. The food is ready. They send it to the table. They bring it to the son-in-law. Mr. Leopard says, My grandson, fetch quickly the fish trap with the water. Mr. Antelope goes out, arrives at the river, lifts the fish trap. The water runs out. He puts it again into the water. He takes it out. The water is out. He dips it again into the water. This keeps it not. He says, I am going, and he casts it with anger into the water. He finds Mr. Leopard, who has eaten already. He says, Our dear grandfather, since early morning when we came, I have not eaten. Shall I lie down with my hunger? This is not right. Mr. Leopard says, My grandson, hold thy peace. Tomorrow thou shalt eat. The night having come, Mr. Leopard says, Oh, Mr. Antelope, the place is too small. Sleep up on the shelf. Mr. Leopard changed. He was a man. Now he is a wild beast. He enters the fold of his father-in-law. He finds the goats and the sheeps. He kills 20 sheep and goats. He takes the blood. He puts it into a pot. He finds Mr. Antelope asleep, and he throws at him the pot of blood. He goes to bed. The father-in-law, when he came to the pen in the morning, he found the sheeps and goats killed, and said, Oh, woe to me! All my goats, they killed them! What hast thou... Who hast done this to me? Now what shall I do? Sir, the boy yesterday thou camest with, where is he? Mr. Leopard said, Ah, fool of a boy, he is still asleep. He goes to wake him up. He wakes up, comes outside. When they see him thus, the whole body ugly with blood, they say, Oh, we thought he was a visitor, but he is a thief. Therefore, how shall we treat him? They say, We shall kill him, for he is a thief. If he were a guest, he would not steal. They kill him. They skin him. They take a leg off the meat. They give it to Mr. Leopard, whose grandson was a thief. They go to sleep. They pack for him a suckling of pig, a measure of cassada meal. They give him a carrier who shall carry him the load basket. When he finally arrives at his home, he takes out the leg of the meat of the antelope, cuts it in the middle, one half for himself, and one half to bring to the wife of Mr. Antelope. He brings it, saying, Know ye well, this meat, what thy husband sent to thee, he went to recover a debt. They eat it. A child says, Mama, this meat is smelling like Papa. I wonder whither Papa went, whether they killed him. I won't eat this meat that smells like our father. Why dost thou say that your father is killed, child? He will come, eat the meat. They have done eating. Mr. Leopard says, Know thou well, thou wife of Mr. Antelope, thy husband, where he went, stole the goats of others. These killed him, these to us gave this meat. I said, I will not eat alone to myself. I will bring it to his wife. She will eat of it, that she may know. They have told me, Thou shalt announce to her, Know thou well, thou husband, where he went on a visit, they killed him. Know ye well, the meat you ate is thy husband whom you ate here. Make the morning. Thy husband is dead because of stealing. The child said, Mama, I said it was. The meat smells of father. They begin to wail the morning. Thus they lived. They ate bagra, they supped on catfish, they kept remembering Mr. Antelope, saying, "What killed him? What was it? The death that he died, what was it?" No man knew the death that destroyed Mr. Antelope. The day on which the morning ended, Mr. Monkey said, "One day, too, I will go with grandfather, Mr. Leopard." Mr. Leopard said, "My grandson, Mr. Monkey, come, accompany me to my father-in-law." Monkey says, "All right, sir." They start. Stopping on the road, he says, "Grandson, pick up that shiny stone on the ground for my wife." Monkey says, "Sir, these are driver ants. They bite." Mr. Leopard laughs. "Ah, Monkey, thou art shrewd." Stopping on the road, they find a field of corn. He says, "My grandson, thou shalt eat the corn yonder that is green. If thou eatest this yellow corn here, when the owner of the field will find thee, he will beat thee." Mr. Monkey, when he entered the field, he ate the yellow corn, but left the green corn. When they arrived at the straw heap where is fire, he says, "My grandson, roast here thy corn." Mr. Monkey says, "Oh, Grandpa, here the fire is out. The corn, will it cook?" "Roast wherever thou wilt." When they had eaten, Mr. Leopard says to Mr. Monkey, "Get up, let us go now, my grandson." They go on. Arriving on the road, they find a field of sugar cane. Mr. Leopard says, "Those canes there, don't eat them. Thou shalt eat those small canes there." Mr. Monkey, as he was told by his grandfather, he entered the field, but without doing which Mr. Leopard bid him, he broke the large cane. Mr. Leopard said, "Who ordered thee to pluck this cane?" Mr. Monkey says, "Grandfather, thou art not wise. Hast thou ever seen a man that eats wild cane?" "Enough, my grandson. Take up thy load. Let us go now." They walk on. They arrive at a river. They drink water. Mr. Leopard says, "Thou, Monkey, today when they cook us the mush, thou shalt come to fetch water." Monkey says, "Well, what shall I carry it in?" Mr. Leopard says, "Thou shalt carry it in this gourd." He shows him the fish trap. Monkey agrees. They move on. They arrive at the house of the parent-in-law. They spread for them mats in the guest house. Evening has come. They cook them food. Mr. Leopard says, "Monkey, go and fetch water." Monkey gets up, goes outside, goes round to the back of the house, stands a little while, comes into the house, finds Mr. Leopard, who has begun to wash his hands. Mr. Leopard says, "Monkey, the water, where is it?" Monkey says, "Sir, the thing is a fish trap. It will not hold water." Mr. Leopard laughs, saying, "All right, sit down on the ground. Wash thy hands. Let us eat the mush." Monkey sits down, washes his hands. They eat the mush. They separate. They go to sleep. Mr. Monkey comes to sleep. Mr. Leopard stays outside. He enters the yard of his father-in-law. He finds goats. He begins to kill. He kills a goat, takes the blood, and puts it in a pot. He finds Mr. Monkey, wants to throw the blood on his body, but Monkey is awake. He pushes him with the hand. The pot of blood falls on the body of Mr. Leopard. They go to sleep. Arriving in the morning, the father-in-law, as he goes to look at the corral, finds the goats all killed. Monkey enters the house, takes out the banjo, begins to play, singing, "He has made a fool of Mr. Antelope, where the monkey too is to be fooled." His father-in-law, Mr. Leopard, arrives. "Oh, Monkey, your grandfather, where is he?" "Ah, he is still in the house here, sleeping." They go to make him get up. They find his body ugly with blood. They take him. They kill him. The father-in-law of Mr. Leopard says, "Monkey, Mr. Antelope, we have killed him unjustly. Not he it was who killed the goats." The next morning, they kill a pig. They accompany Mr. Monkey, who is going to his home. They give him a leg of meat of Mr. Leopard, whom they killed, saying, "This meat, thou shalt give it to the wife of Mr. Leopard." He takes the meat. He goes away and arrives at the house of Mr. Leopard. He gives the meat, saying, "Know ye well, grandfather? Our grandfather, Mr. Leopard, went further on hunting. This meat he sent it to you. Eat away." They cooked the meat. They eat. A child says, "Mama, this meat, my heart is sick. The meat smells of Papa." "Thou art crazy. Your father, he is coming. The meat, how can it smell of your father?" And when they are done eating, they wash their hands. Mr. Monkey goes outside to the tallest tree and says, "Know ye well, thy husband, Mr. Leopard, at his father-in-law's where he went, killed the goats of others. These killed him also. I am going." They say, "Catch him!" They pursue him. They cannot catch him. They give up. Mr. Monkey is gone. They remain wailing to the funeral. Gentlemen and ladies, I have told my little tale. Whether good or bad, I have told it.